Welcome to Hibiscus Society News, shooting the shit. I'm Benjamin Hawk. With us tonight, we got C-Sut. We're going to have Trent Ortner from the Redacted Caucus. We're also going to have Tommy Payne on with us a little bit, and possibly 40. We are entering unprecedented times. We're talking tonight about the recent Supreme Court ruling about open carry. How the Second Amendment, which guarantees us the right to bear arms, which bearing something means carrying something, does not constitutionally guarantee us the right to open carry our firearms. I'm laughing because I can't make this shit up. The Ninth Circuit Supreme Court ruled on the 23rd of this month that the Constitution does not guarantee us the right to carry our firearms openly or at all. Actually, we can own them, but they says it doesn't guarantee us the right to carry our arms.
Yeah, that strictly just goes against the whole definition of bear.
Yes,
just to bear something.
Yeah, no, it I mean, it is ridiculous. I just, for anybody out there who I actually copied, this whole shit is so stupid. The Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Like, it's plain English. To keep means to own, and to bear means to carry. I used to live in California, and a guy brought it to the Supreme Court and said, "Hey, look, we can't, we have county, because it's all in California, they banned open carry. You cannot open carry if you have a firearm that is displayed publicly, and somebody feels threatened, you are now guilty of brandishing," which is stupid. But somebody has to do is feel uncomfortable, have their feelings hurt, and you're guilty of a felony. So this guy sued the state, went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, "Okay, well, all right. The state can say you can't open carry. However, if they don't allow open carry, they have to be a shall issue permit state. So they have to issue carry permits. So because back then California was a may issue, so you couldn't get a concealed carry permit in California unless you were law enforcement, district attorney, defense attorney, judge. Unless you were well connected in the state. Well, that changed it. Now there were still some sheriffs who are still treating their concealed carry permits as may issue, and they'll let you pay the $300 to apply, but the chance if you like Sonoma County, where I grew up, they won't issue a permit. You can pay. They're like, "Oh yeah, you can pay the $240." They won't issue a permit. Go to Sacramento County. Now that sheriff, he'll issue you a permit because he believes in the Second Amendment. He believes that the people in his county have the right to defend themselves. And welcome Tommy Payne. Hopefully, he's in there somewhere. But yeah, that's how it works. So now there's this guy in Hawaii, and this recent lawsuit originated from, was in Hawaii, because Hawaii is doing the same shit. May issue carry permits, no open carry. So he sued. He's like, "No, you're violating my Second Amendment rights," which it is an absolute violation of your Second Amendment right. Except that this time the Ninth Circuit Court went, no, it's not. And that is, absolutely correct. It's left coast lunatics. It's left coast lunacy. Is what it is. It's part of the reason why I went east. I moved the Freedom Train east.
Yeah, I don't want to look on the other side of the Mississippi pretty soon because it's about to get real wild over there.
Oh yeah. It's getting crazy out there. But I mean, I'm hoping that what's going to happen, because then like this happened before, like I don't know if you guys are I don't know if you guys are familiar with the high capacity mag. I hate that term. I hate all these stupid trigger gun term words. High capacity, standard capacity magazines. 30 round magazines. California tried to ban them. California banned them. Said you can only have 10 round magazines. Gun rights organization sued. Gun right organization lost in the Ninth Circuit, but then it went up the food chain. They actually won. The higher court, I'm not sure if it's the 11th Circuit, whatever is above 9. Whoever's above oversees the Ninth Circuit Court, went over their heads. That court ruled that magazine capacity limits are unconstitutional. So now but it doesn't undo the law they made, because now that's going through the appeal process and getting moved up the food chain even higher. And then that was right when COVID hit, oddly enough.
Oh yeah, this is the one that's going on in California, isn't it?
Yes,
that everybody's been following vehemently.
Yeah, this is the California one. There's multiple. The left coast is where all of these lawsuits are originating from, because they're the ones that have the mix of the anti-gunners, and then they have a good mix of gun lovers and the gun organizations. So they're knocking heads in litigation, trying to unfuck the Constitution on the West Coast. So sorry, I need a producer or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, no.
Yeah, Tommy's having technical difficulties every time he connects. His phone resets. Let's see here. No, I'm not gonna. All right. Anyways, so it's what's your take on all this? Because this
is what really gets me. It's not the fact that this decision was made, because the Ninth Circuit Court is really a local court. But when you start looking at it, for the people of their locality, the Ninth Circuit Court covers some of the largest population states and cities in the country. And we're asking this court to represent this entire western swath of the United States, which is essentially just a western portion or everything west of the Rocky Mountains, essentially. And we just put that giant court to decide everything from Canada to Mexico to Hawaii. That's thousands and thousands of miles.
There's a fucking ocean out there too.
In Alaska.
Oh yeah, Alaska. Don't forget about Alaska. Alaska's kind of like the last vestige of free America. But it's what are they gonna? How are they gonna enforce any kind of shit out there?
Yeah,
man. They just kind of let them do their thing. It's oh, fuck it. I think you can actually. I think
weed has been legal in Alaska well before Portland or Oregon, Washington, and Colorado. It's been legal for 20 years, I think now.
And don't they allow felons to own firearms there too?
For
homestead home defense?
Yeah.
I know we do. I know we do here in Texas. depending on the time, the time frame when they were convicted and the type of felony they were convicted of. But I know that felons can at some point get their gun rights back in Texas.
Yeah,
it's just a pain in the ass.
I really don't see this as a failing as a whole, because it's supposed to be people that are looking out for their locality and what their locality's visions are and everything. But there's no way that's a locality. That court needs broken up and split into so many different courts.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's but they're not gonna. They're not gonna, because it's they're gonna do what they're feds are gonna fed.
Yeah.
So but here we go, but here we go again. We got they're setting case law and precedent that it's gonna affect the entire country.
Well, it doesn't affect anything outside of that circuit court, because that's where that precedent applies at. Now you can make the argument that another court can make a similar case along that, but they don't have precedent because that didn't take part in their jurisdiction or in a higher court above them.
Okay, see, this is where I'm a little fuzzy on how this shit works, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there watching that might be a little fuzzy on how this works. So the Ninth Circuit is literally a district court, so this only affects people on the West Coast. This ruling,
it's an appeals court.
The appeals court.
So a circuit appeals court is one step below the Supreme Court. They're legit. Constitutionally, the way it's written is that they're the last court for the region, and no laws are supposed to go to the Supreme Court at all. But with Marbury versus Madison, essentially the Supreme Court just gave itself a good pat on the back and said, you know what, we gotta do this stuff too. We're bored. Instead of doing their real job and breaking up these courts and saying, hey, this is how we should start managing all this, and actually doing a bureaucratic process to alleviate locality or local problems like this. But really, with the court being the size it is, this is an entire region problem. Because there are so many people and so much landmass in the area of the Ninth Circuit Court. It is literally the size of a normal-sized country, population and landmass-wise.
Yeah.
And not to take into account that California is the third highest GDP in the world.
Oh, they went up.
Or the seventh. I think it's the seventh.
Yeah, they used to be like fifth. I know under Schwarzenegger, they're like fifth, and then they went down a lot after Governor Brown took over. And
there's
to California.
You're asking this entire court to make
a decision. We're going to build a train.
That's crazy. That's all insane.
Yeah. No. Yeah, no. California should have should be its own court. But that's neither here nor there. And then everybody else. But honestly, California should just go away.
I don't think so. I think if they really had their own.
I'm biased. I escaped.
Yeah. Well, no. If your location had the laws of your location, it'd be a lot more amendable to live there. But then again, you'd also see all the dirty Californians moving to Texas and using all the electricity during the worst winter storm.
Oh yeah, no, and they just don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna. I don't want to. Okay, I totally want to bash on California. I'm not gonna lie. I totally like bashing on California because it's just so goddamn easy. But it's just but it's interesting. It's funny. It's funny because I'm not left. I'm not right. I'm moderate. I'm right down the middle of the line. But all those gun laws that California passed were written by Reagan and put through when Reagan was governor to stop the Black Panthers from marching the streets armed. They're like, oh shit, oh they're armed. We can't oppress those neighborhoods. So we need to ban open carry for everybody, and we need to stop this. So he fucking they did it. They made ballot measures and fucking voted that shit in, and California just went, okay, we'll vote it. We'll you scared us enough to be afraid of people with guns, so we're gonna fucking vote for this shit. We're gonna vote to suppress our Second Amendment rights, and that's just like they do that so goddamn often in that state.
See, that's another really big problem, and I love the issue of gun laws, not because of the issues of gun themselves, but because how they're written and how stupid they are. Like, yeah, you can't on a normal basis conceal carry or open carry a gun anywhere in California unless you say you're going fishing and you have a fishing pole on your person.
Oh yeah, in Florida?
Do what?
Oh yeah, that's Florida.
No, that's California.
Oh.
If you say you're going fishing and you have a fishing pole with you, you can open carry a firearm.
Interesting. I've lived there. I grew up there. I had no idea you could do that.
Yeah.
Wow. I wouldn't want to push that because, that's just, it's, I mean, that would.
It's crazy, isn't it?
That's just asking to get fucked with by a cop, but that's interesting. So I know that's how it is in Florida. Like you can't open carry in Florida unless you're hunting or fishing, unless you're fishing. So there's like this guy. There's all kinds of YouTube videos of this guy who's got like a gun on his hip with a fishing pole at the marina, and then like the cops come and fuck with him, and he's like, "No, get your supervisor. I'm fishing. I'm allowed to do this." Because he's got like his AR strapped to his back. He's got like a 45 on his hip, and then he's like got a fishing pole and a tackle box, and he's like, "I'm fishing."
No, I don't really blame him. I really don't blame him because I don't want to go anywhere near the water in Florida as it is.
Well, there's a lot of things in the water in Florida that'll you go there to get something to eat, and there's other things that go there to get something to eat you.
Yeah. Like the scariest thing I'd be afraid of is definitely swimming in the ocean and just getting fucking snatched up by a big ass grouper. That would terrify me. Because those things don't stop growing.
No. See, when I lived in California, it was the great whites. We had the great white sharks, and I was right there where our beaches were right there in that great white triangle. So it was like certain times a year, it'd be like, yeah, I'm not going in.
Yeah, no, I don't even go in the water anymore. Like I'm terrified of swimming unless it's in a swimming pool.
Yeah, give me 5 sides of concrete and some filtration, and we're golden.
Yeah, if I can't see the bottom, like I don't want to go swimming there.
It's all good. It's all good. Man, but this is nuts. Like the attack on the this is just the start of it. Like we have numerous state bills across the country for for increasing background checks, decreasing right to carry, decreasing magazine sizes, transfer your right to sell your firearms and how you go about selling your firearms to other people, how you transfer firearms, and then on top of that, and that's just on state levels, and then we got the federal government coming in trying to make us all get gun licenses and universal background check, which a universal background check is completely useless without a registration. So once they put in the universal background check, they're going to have to put in a registration to check to see, was this gun did you buy this gun with a background check? And once they do the registration, then once they know what you have, then it's just a matter of time before, I know they're just like, oh, you're just freaking out. You're just fear mongering. No, when they do their assault weapon ban, they're going to come knocking on your door looking for your AR-15, your AK-47, your bullpups, your whatever the fuck you got that falls under that ban. And these bans that they're proposing are like there's any semi-automatic weapon with a full automatic variant is damn near 70% of the gun market. And that they're once they have that registry, they're gonna know exactly where to find them. They're gonna know, and they want you to know where you're storing the shit, and they want to make that shit public, like public record, do a public record cert. Like, come on now.
Now, here's the thing about that is because I'm going to make a really big point, is that I can defend that on the level of that at least it's going to a legislative body to be voted on and decided. Because I don't know if you heard what came out today with Jen Psaki or Psaki, whatever her name is, the press release person for the Biden administration.
I am not.
She came out and saying that Biden was looking at what he can and cannot write into an executive order for gun control. And right now they're looking at home manufacturing.
Oh, so they're going after the 3D printers.
The 3D printers, field expedient firearms you can make, doing your own reloading, essentially. Like that's getting crazy. It's getting cray-cray.
So they're basically saying, like, you're not going to be allowed to buy your own primers, your own bullets, and your own casings and make your own bullets anymore. So they're saying they can do that with an executive order.
Yeah, that's what they're looking at, and they can write an executive order if they want to over whatever they want. And they're all treated as legally binding documents at this point.
Yeah, see, I look at things that aren't being voted on by a legislative body as a form of tyranny. That's just me. I don't know. I understand, like, the purpose of it. I understand an immediate need, like if you need to immediately fund, like, a disaster relief, or you need to immediately send troops somewhere, or you need to, I understand the use of an executive order. Huh?
And turn the Japanese.
No, we don't want to turn. No. But you know what I'm saying? I understand. Honestly, no, I don't. Like, the more I think about it, the more I talk, like, the more I say it, the more disgusted I get with myself and go, no, there's no need for an executive order. Like, presidents should not be allowed to make executive orders at all. Everything should go through Congress and the Senate and should be voted on and ratified by them, signed by the president. And the president is just the last check and balance to go yay or veto.
So the reason being that executive orders exist was not to dictate things for the population, but to give a quick reference to direction of federal employees. They're not supposed to reach out to people, or the executive orders are never supposed to leave the government system at all. It's not supposed to go into the private sector, your own home, or anything like that.
So it's shit for them, not for us.
Yeah, it's like when you're at work and you get a memo from your boss saying what you're supposed to do. Because they came out with a whole new rule in the rule book, but it's kind of unclear and nobody understands it.
Right.
And then your boss just says, hey, this is what the memo is, and what the spirit of the memo is supposed to be. And that's how that's supposed to work.
Yeah, so, but now now, yeah, but here we go. We got Biden now whipping out executive orders, and now we're back into it. It seems I don't like making this correlation, but seems to be a huge correlation here. Like, because I mean, granted, like during the Trump administration, there were a few mass shooting events. We had a few shootings. But now it seems now that gun legislation is kind of stalled out in the House and Senate, in Congress and Senate now, they're not really making any kind of progress on them. Now all of a sudden we've got like 2 cops getting shot in the head in their cars. We just had what was that, Palm Beach? There was 10 people killed in Palm Beach. We had Georgia, we had Colorado, now all in like it seems like every weekend now somebody's going out clapping people.
Yeah.
And it's going back to, it seems like it's slipping back to the, like when we had the Obama era during the Obama administration. we had a shit ton of mass shootings during like it's just I hate making that correlation, but it seems like when we have we have a Democrat in charge, society goes to shit. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating because everybody's so quick. They're like, oh, they blame the tool instead of the dumbass pulling the trigger.
See, here's my argument to that argument.
All right.
And granted, I am very pro 2A, but I just love playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, you do.
Is that there would be no gun-related violence without guns. Wouldn't exist completely, 100%, if there was not a single gun. But America itself owns the American civilian population owns 47% of all firearms in the world. Like, it's gotten to the point to where we're making everything out of plastic in America. Because how many people do we know that just have 3D printed firearms?
I don't know of anyone in my personal circle that owns 3D printed anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How many people do you know? It could be anybody. It could be any number of people.
Nobody knows, and nobody's going to come out and say, oh, hey, check out my 3D printed lower. No, nobody's saying that. But But I mean, and the funny argument about it too is like no law stops criminals, because that's the whole point of being a criminal is you don't follow the law. So when you pass a gun law, when you pass any type of law, it only affects the law-abiding citizen. So it's like, so okay, cool. So all right, and then statistically speaking, they're going after the assault weapons, which is such a made-up bullshit term because there's no such thing as an assault weapon. You have full automatic weapons, you have semi-automatic weapons, you got bolt-action rifles, and then you've got ball and powder, center fire rifle. You got different types of rifles, but I mean, the closest thing I can say would be an assault weapon would be a fully automatic rifle, which are already damn near banned. I mean, highly regulated. You already have to have a tax stamp, a federal firearms license, and bonded, and all these, all this paperwork just to own one. You can't even own one that's older than 1994, because they don't make them anymore. So you have to find one that was made before
1986.
86, that was it. You got to find one before 1986, and then if you've got the thousands of dollars to buy one,
not tens of thousands, almost to the hundreds of thousands of dollars now.
Right, exactly. So it's the ownership of a fully automatic rifle is out of the grasp of pretty much every average citizen. It's only for the super wealthy, and if you can even find one. So, but they're going after now. So they're going after the AR-15, the semi-automatic rifles, which they're calling now weapons of war, which aren't, because I've actually owned a weapon of war. I had a Mosin Nagant M44 bolt-action rifle, which was literally used to kill Nazis in World War II. That was an actual weapon of war. It was a bolt-action single. It held 5. It had a stripper clip. It held 5 rounds, and that was a weapon of war. Now, but they're going after the AR-15, which is used in less than 1% of all shootings, but calling it an epidemic. Like, I mean, statistics, the fear mongering they're doing on it make no sense. So it's like, why go after that weapon in particular when it's such a small percentage, when it causes such a small percentage of all gun deaths?
Yeah. I mean, that really just calling things epidemics. I wish I would have seen this earlier, but it seems like, or pandemics and epidemics, really seems like it's going to be the new buzzword of how to get things to pass in Congress now.
Yeah, pretty much. It is, because that's what the gun violence epidemic. It's like, and honestly, what we have out of all gun deaths, most gun deaths are actual suicides. So we need that with the actual epidemic is a mental health problem, and getting people the help they need to keep them from, offing themselves with pistols.
I'm all in favor of people making their own decisions, no matter how bad they are.
Yeah, somebody's gonna, that's a totally different, other topic to discuss. That's another topic, but it's when we want, it's honestly, it doesn't. The only thing I can think the reason why they're going after the AR-15s and the AR-15s and the semi-auto AK-47s. One, they're scary looking, so it's an easy sell because they're tactical. They're scary looking, but they're great firearms to go hunting with, to shoot pig, and I wouldn't use it on a deer, but yeah, if you're going out pig hunting, like, yeah, use it. It's great. I've watched videos of guys going out there pig hunting, going pop, 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 dropping pigs from helicopters, which I totally want to do someday. But but I think the government's those firearms actually scared. I think the government's more scared of those firearms than they're trying to make the people scared of them. That's just my opinion, and the reason being that they're scared of them is because those are the weapons that could potentially be used to fight tyranny and to defend freedom.
Potentially, but I think things are going to get pretty weird if once all these laws start hitting the books, because I have a feeling they are, and the executive orders, if they start hitting the books, I feel like this entire timeline we're living in right now is going to get really fucking weird.
Oh, it's going to get like anime weird.
Yeah.
It's going to get weird. It's going to be, all this legislation, because they've got a ticking clock, because it's only a matter of time before the midterm elections come next year, that they could lose their majority. Oh, whoa, do you too, puppy?
Hey, stop moving.
They could lose their majority in the House, and they could potentially lose their majority in the House. They could lose their majority, and they could lose their equality in the Senate. So they're gonna try to push this shit through as fast as possible before they do that, because I have a feeling that the table, it seems to happen every midterm, it flips. The voters get a little like, okay, you had 2 years to deal with this shit, like my dog knocking down my green screen. Welcome to live television, everybody. Oh, animals and TV, man. Okay, what was I saying? Okay, all right. So, my wife's loving this. Everybody can hear everyone in the house right now, including you. Okay. But that's just, I've lost my entire train of thought. But that's what's gonna happen. But they're gonna so they're scared they're gonna lose this thing. So they're gonna try to push this gun legislation too. I'm actually surprised they haven't even put them to a vote yet. But I think they're gonna wait until the very last minute and try to vote on it. If they can't get the votes, because honestly, they're probably, they're probably gonna wait until after the midterm elections. Because if they still maintain their seats, then they're not worried about losing the midterm elections. That's kind of where that's where my thought process is going. Is they're going to go through. They're not going to vote on. They're going to sit on this legislation through the midterms. If the Democrats maintain control of the House and Senate, or get more control of it, then they'll introduce it. Then they'll vote on it, pass it, because they're like, hey, we got it. We got the president, we got the House, we got everything else. But if they do it now and pass that shit, they lose. They potentially run the risk of losing control at the midterms.
I really don't see any point. If they have the ability to do it now, why not now? If you're afraid of losing almost an entire election within 2 years or a year from now, like, well, what's the point? Pass it now. Don't pass it later. And that's assuming if there isn't any election fraud, because that seems to be the big blame game right now.
Oh yeah, I mean that's. And with the election fraud, that's one of those things where it's like I can't, it's like, do I think there was? Yes, were there cases of fraud? Yes, there were. I mean, I read the news stories in Texas alone of multiple counts of election fraud. Was it enough to sway one way or another in Texas? No. Was there enough in other swing states? I don't know, because it was all swept under the rug real quick, and the investigations all faltered, and nobody really looked into it. So that was kind of the end of it. So I accept the results of the election as they stood, because that was just how it fucking ended up.
Do you trust the people to prove that the election they supposedly won to be proven to be election fraud?
Do I trust the people, like the people in charge of it?
Yeah.
About as far as I can throw them. But I have little to no trust in the government at all, because these are all government people that are appointed by government people, to represent the government. So I don't trust the government. So yeah, I think that election official positions should be elected on by the people. But as with any type of head of government office or anything of that nature, department. But I'm just a citizen. What the fuck do I know? I'm just a peasant. I think. Let's see what's going on here. There we go. And we've got Mike Hunt.
What?
That's what you put your name as, bro.
I know.
I get it.
Oh, what's up, buddy? So we've been going through, I don't know if you've been able to follow along at all or not, but we've just been having a good old time talking about all kinds of stuff. Talking about gun rights, the court ruling in the Ninth Circuit Court there on the left coast, how that only impacts the left coast, and election fraud, and the upcoming, and it's correlation between the mass shootings that we've been having recently, and how it seems I've drawn the conclusion of. It's interesting how we've had multiple cops getting shot. We've had multiple mass shooting events when all this legislation has stalled in Congress. It's really convenient that all this stuff started happening. So that's kind of where we're at with that discussion. Obviously, we're all. Sees us there playing devil's advocate, talking about if there was no guns, there'd be no gun violence. But
which is a factual statement.
It would be instead of gun. But in the UK, they pretty much melted all their guns down, and now they got knife problems because human nature. I mean, let's face it, humans are violent by nature. We're gonna you know,
We'll figure out a way to kill you
gonna find ways
regardless.
to kill each other regardless. Exactly. Hey, buddy. Welcome, 40. It looks like you're driving. Hopefully, you're practicing hands-free safety, which you look pretty hands-free.
Oh yeah, hands-free. You know, actually,
All right.
one hand-free.
As you,
As
He's
he's,
like, wait,
as he's
hold on
holding
a
his
second.
phone.
that was a little handsy.
Hey, this might turn into a NASCAR event with a fucking wreck, so be careful. I don't want that happening.
I'm
So,
a professional driver.
Everybody says that until they wreck.
oh,
Yeah, that's right. Pretty much right.
so
So,
right,
have a good
so-
conversation.
yeah, so we're just, you know, like I said, man, we're, you know, it's kind of funny that the show's called Shooting the Shit, and we're talking about guns and shooting. So, irony. So, okay, so we got. So, I mean, we're pretty much going to probably all be in agreement here that any gun law is an infringement of the Constitution. I mean,
I think it's safe to say.
the way I look at it is my weapons, my concealed carry card was signed in 1776.
Right.
My background check was my birth certificate that I used to get my state ID that I just showed to say I'm an American to buy my weapons.
Yep.
That's where I'm at with legality, with how restrictive gun legislation should be.
They'll find any way and every way to infringe to try to make you do the extra effort to where you won't buy guns.
Oh yeah, because I mean that is HR 127 right there. To make it
Yeah.
so goddamn
Oh
to make it so it is so expensive, so inconvenient, so just god awful to be able to purchase even ammunition. You know,
That's what I was kind of.
People, it should be that. I mean, like, just the fact that they want, you know, the people that have all the fucking money already to be the only ones that have guns. That tells me enough right there.
Right.
I mean, I don't have $800 to pay for a year to pay for gun insurance.
Not at all.
I don't.
And it's fucking Sheila Jackson that is the sponsor of this bill too.
Which is crazy because she's from Texas.
I know.
Like, how the fuck? Like, who the fuck in Texas voted you in office? Dallas. Wait, Dallas.
It's got to be. It's either Dallas or Houston.
Yeah, it's Houston.
She's Houston.
Damn shame.
Yeah. Democratic strongholds. It's either Dallas or Houston. It's always one of those two.
It has to be.
So,
Austin.
you know, or Austin. It could be or Austin. Those are the three. You know, but it's uses the, you know, I've read it and it uses all the lovely trigger words: assault weapons,
Right.
gun violence epidemic, mental health crises. Which, oh my God, anybody with an ex-wife that has a vendetta against you, good luck getting guns, because they're gonna come knocking and talking to her, or him.
Yeah.
You know, and like really, like you get an ex-husband that's like ready to fucking like domestically violate his ex-wife, and she tries to get a gun permit, and they talk to him, and he finds out and goes, "Oh no, she's crazy. She should not own a weapon." And then he can go and domestically violate her because since he just made sure she couldn't own a firearm.
Or then she ends up murdered.
Oh yeah,
and everybody's like,
that
"Oh,
one shit."
what? Laws failed us."
What?
But you know, that's the insanity, and they're like, but common sense, gun control. That's what they're calling it. They're calling this shit common sense gun control. It's like that's not. Here's.
You can't sell a shit sandwich any other way other than being a shit sandwich.
Right. Now, so like here we go. I've got some common sense gun laws. You do gun enhancements on crimes committed with guns. Somebody commits a crime with a gun. you put an enhancement on using a firearm in the commission of that felony of hurting someone.
Right.
You make it worse if you use a firearm. You punish the person for what they did with the firearm. You don't punish the gun owners for owning you don't make it harder for law-abiding citizens. You make it worse on the criminals.
And that's the people that get punished. It's the law-abiding citizens. It's the people that are doing their due diligence and doing everything right that end up getting fucked.
Yeah.
And it's so goddamn always.
I mean, like they de-incentivize, like, you know, fucking following the law because it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. The people that go and break gun laws are the people that aren't, you know, fucking ostracized for it. Like, I mean, all the laws that they're creating, like you guys said, are basically targeting people like us that aren't going to go out and fucking rich people. Nothing that they're proposing has ever or ever will stop these fucking mass shootings, or even, you know, the fact that mass shootings make up a minuscule amount of guns in this country tells you all you need to know, but that's all they focus on. They don't fucking focus on gang and drug crime and shit like that. They're not trying to actually fucking fix anything.
They're not trying to solve the problem.
Police are too scared to go into those neighborhoods where all the gun violence, where guys are using stolen guns, illegally obtained firearms, and committing felonies with firearms. They're not going into those neighborhoods and stopping it. They're like, oh well, they're just stopping the teenager from smoking a doobie under the bleachers, or writing speeding tickets at construction zones. They're not actually doing anything in those neighborhoods where people are literally getting murdered in the streets.
Well, the last big gun or police reform that we had actually created SWAT specifically for the purpose of attempting to stop drug-related crimes. And you've seen how that turned out.
No, because the government, when it comes down to it, the government fucks up everything they touch. They can't.
It's a militarized police force.
Yeah, you don't want that. But when it comes down to it, forget the police, because they're not going to help you. I mean, Supreme Court's ruled police you have no duty to help you.
Yeah.
When it comes to that kind of shit. If anything, if you look at crime statistics, states that have more lax gun laws, as far as open carry, concealed carry, constitutional, doing all those that make it easier to carry and defend yourself with stand your ground castle doctrine, actually have lower violence rates and lower murder rates than states and cities that have stricter and more restrictive gun laws. And the reason being is the criminals know, when they go to break into your house, or let's say they go to carjack you. In California, they know you don't have a gun.
Yeah.
They know you have no way to defend yourself. You can't carry, you can't conceal. The chance of you having a concealed carry permit is...
And if you do shoot the person in California, they're going to sue you.
You're going to go to prison yourself, and they can sue you. Right, exactly. So the laws favor the criminals in California. Now you go to a state like Arizona with constitutional carry, they have very low crime rates because the criminals are like, well, shit. This guy looks like he's probably packing. I don't want to rob this guy. This lady looks like she's got a .357 in her purse. Easy prey. And in states where you have the right to defend yourself, your right to defend yourself is highly protected, you can defend yourself, and the crime rates are lower. In states,
I can't believe that's not a discussion. That isn't something that is brought up every time, every goddamn time.
Oh shit!
Nothing.
I mean, they talk about Chicago, but it's like let's not talk about inner cities. Let's talk about states as a whole. You talk about states as a whole. States with stricter gun laws have higher murder rates.
Yeah.
Have higher gun violence rates.
This was a point that was being made constantly the other day at the constitutional carry hearing. I mean, that shit, people were dedicated. I mean, they stayed. That fucking hearing went on until 5:30 in the morning. I mean, from 10 o'clock the day before. people were there and they wanted to make their voices heard. But this was a point that a lot of them were making. All the states that have, like, there's, I think they said like 30 states in the union that have some kind of permitless carry. 18 have constitutional carry. And those states typically do have much lower fucking gun violence rates. And not just that, like lower assault rates, lower sexual assault rates, home invasion rates, carjackings, all of this shit. I mean, they talk about common sense all the time, but there is no fucking common sense. These people don't know anything about guns. They don't know anything about gun laws. They don't know shit. Their common sense is uninformed
common sense is giving people the tools and the rights to defend themselves. That's common sense.
Well, the correlation between a lot of this is that when you live in an area that has a lot more laws, it becomes a lot easier to break a law. Therefore, there's a lot more gun-related crime in areas to where people don't crime. Therefore, it looks like there's a rise of gun-related incidences when there's not. So it's literally a correlation between trying to stop something and making it more prevalent.
Yeah.
And I every time I hear common sense, I think back to the Marine Corps, and they used to say all the time, common sense is an uncommon virtue, and it's fucking the truth.
Yeah.
Nobody has common sense. I mean, but that's just how it is. People naturally go with the flow, and people are naturally humans are inherently stupid.
I just find it funny.
Ignorance is bliss.
Moniker of Tommy Payne when we're talking about common sense now.
What's up, Tommy?
What's up?
So we've got all this. So the hearing. How did the hearing in Texas end? 40.
Shit. Like I said, it lasted until about 5:30 in the morning. So I stopped watching probably about 3.
Do you know if they voted on anything?
What's that?
Did they vote on anything, or was that just the hearing before the vote?
Yeah, that's just the hearing before the vote. So it's still in committee. But honestly, with the amount of overwhelming support there was, I'll be fucking damned if it doesn't get out of committee.
Good.
I feel like it's like that every year. Everybody's like, "This is the year we're getting constitutional carry. We're gonna do it this year," and then it gets there, and then just done.
Yeah.
I'm praying to God you're right, man.
I fucking hope so. I mean, of course they had some of the moms demand action fuckers out there, and there was a few people from Texas Gun Sense. I'd never heard of Texas Gun Sense before, but they were there.
Are they pro or anti?
Anti.
Oh.
Yeah.
I should have realized that when it had sense in the name.
Right, yeah. I didn't know until they started talking, really.
I want to bring it up on a sidebar, though, is that every time a left side group or left team group decides to name something, it always goes terribly wrong. Because every time I hear Moms Demand Action, I either think that's a really good porno or an excellent escort service.
Right.
Hey, I'm going to rejoin on a computer, y'all. I'll be right back.
Mom's Demand Action like that. I found a meme of that, and it had the mom wearing the shirt, and it's just right, because you have the right to tell me what I can and can't do because you let somebody. Yes.
You know what? I think I'm going to make that into a meme later with Lisa Ann.
Malcolm X was saying 70 years ago, white liberal women were the worst part of this society, and he's still right. Still right.
Oh, nothing. I mean,
dude. Hey, I just found out the other day. Did you know that Martin Luther King was stabbed in the heart before he got shot?
Wait, what?
By a black lady. Yeah, a black lady stabbed him in the heart with a pin, a month or two before he was shot, before he was murdered.
Jesus
I've
Christ.
never heard that. I've never heard that before.
I hadn't either, but I thought that was some pretty radical shit. We need more people like him, man. We need more people that are willing to give up everything to provide and to make the world a better place for everyone. Malcolm X, fucking Martin Luther King, fucking Coretta Scott King, all those guys, man. Like they were pioneers, and we just lost that type of bravado that doesn't exist anymore, hardly.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I follow Colin Noir, and I like what he has to say. But his way he gets up and speaks when he talks about constitutional rights, and he's strictly gun rights. But he's a great public speaker.
He is. He's a little bit hard on the right wing thing, but
nobody's perfect.
Yeah, Mash Tor's, I think, a better example. How do I pronounce that? Oh man, dude, I see that dude. I'm like, fuck yes. Him, and then
there's people out there that you hear them speak, and all you want to do is listen.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the name of the guy from? He's the black dude in that black dude white guy rap group out of Atlanta. Totally blanking. Run the Jewels. What's the name of him? Oh shit, he's a great public speaker. He's
Killer Mike.
So what? Killer Mike.
Killer Mike.
Yeah, he's incredible, and he's a little bit on the left. But again, I hear him speak, and my jaw just fucking drops every time.
And there's nothing wrong with being a little bit left. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit right, as long as you're being fair and equal to both sides. I mean, and
not forcing the other side to do what your bidding is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
no. I just bring that up. I don't care what he is either way. I just like having a frame of reference. This guy's this side, that side.
Right.
But Killer Mike, with that aside, like he's as good as any of them.
Yeah.
I really have to disagree with that, especially being great old American pragmatist. Is that I have a hard time listening to people speak, especially when they're not speaking to the truth of our reality, to what we're living in. So I can hear one person make a comment of say something, and then come out and go out left field with something else, and that just completely ruins them for me.
I don't know. I like Mini AOC on Twitter when she was on Twitter. She was hilarious.
She wouldn't be so. She wouldn't be so stupid if she didn't talk all the time.
No, I meant Mini AOC, not AOC. Fuck AOC. I was talking about Mini AOC. This little kid that was posting tweets making fun of AOC. It was hilarious. I know she's total right wing whatever, but she was hilarious. The shit she was posting, it was funny as hell. But now she's moved to something else. Yeah, that was. I'll put him back in a minute. That was annoying. Once this video comes back up. Yeah. So okay. So but we gotta. But this, we've got all these. We've got all this shit. We've got all this legislation, and we've hit the point of. There we go. We've hit the point. We've got all this legislation, and we've hit the point now that we're gonna have there's gonna have to be some sort of check and balance, because they're going after our rights. I mean, Georgia is charging people with attempt to commit felony because they were open carrying a handgun or because they were open carrying a rifle. They've done it twice now. Arrested 2 black guys, 2 separate occasions, because they were open carrying firearms. One of them even had a carry permit, and they said, "Oh, well, he's attempting to. He was going to commit a felony. We think he was going to commit a felony, so now we're going to arrest him and charge him with attempting to commit a felony, which is a felony." even though he was licensed,
Yeah.
fully licensed, and vetted to carry his firearms.
The hypocrisy is just unreal, man. It's just I keep hearing new things every day, and I'm just like, there's no way that it can be beat. And then here we go. You just said that.
Yeah, it's dude. It is totally like as soon as we like, oh, it can't get any worse, and fucking the government goes, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Hold my beer. Check this shit out. We're gonna do thought crime now. You thought about like, you know, I mean
that's already happening with everybody getting censored.
Yeah.
Or if you say something wrong, and the FBI shows up to your house.
oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
they're charging people with what happened on the 6th of January from memes they posted.
They were instigating it.
Said they instigated it, even though they had nothing to do with it.
Yep.
Weren't even in the state, weren't even planning on going to it, weren't doing shit about it, had nothing to do with it. But because they post anti-government memes, which is protected freedom of speech.
No, it's not. Shut up.
Well, it's supposed to be. It should be. It's supposed to be. I mean, it's you know, it's supposed to be. But
You don't need it.
Don't tell anybody. We don't want the secret to get out.
But that's, you know, but that now it's like, okay, well, shit, you know, the whole point of the First Amendment was to make sure that we didn't have that we could say whatever the fuck we wanted about the government without having to be like, oh shit, are they listening?
Right?
Yeah. You gotta wonder, man, like if some way our founding fathers were to be here and hear all of this shit and just see the state of the fucking country. I mean,
Oh,
their
they'd be yelling,
reactions.
get the muskets.
Yeah.
Get the fucking
Washington,
muskets.
get the
Ben, get the,
muskets.
you know, fucking, you know, they'd be fucking busting out the fucking Ben Franklin glasses going, get the fucking muskets.
They would be appalled. Just completely appalled.
Oh, they would bitch slap the fucking all of our legislators. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And our judges and president, like they would just they would be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? This is not what we intended.
Like when they started
when
they started the federal government and like, you know, wrote the Articles of Confederation and then wrote the Constitution. Could you imagine them looking forward to now to seeing what the central government has become, and then be like, "Whoa, no, what? Can they not read in the future?"
Yeah.
Even
People
fuckers
always
like
wanna say
Alexander
shit.
Hamilton, even guys like Alexander Hamilton who wanted George Washington to go by king would be appalled, you know?
Yeah.
It would have been appalled in the 40s, much less now.
People always say shit like, "Oh, the founding fathers could have never known that you would have guns that could do this." But I feel like that'd be the least of their fucking worries. Like they'd be like, "Oh, this is badass. This is great. Like I would have loved to have this during the Revolutionary War."
If you see that, I don't know if you guys are a big purview over it, but Forgotten Weapons has continuously proved that rapid fire firearms did not exist when the founding fathers wrote it. Because they had primitive cartridges for muskets. They had essentially Gatling guns.
Right.
They had a hand crank.
Yeah, they had puckle guns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, citizens owned fucking battleships. Like,
yeah, they had they were private armies.
They had fucking cannons and rockets. Like when they're like, oh, they never intended them to own. Like, motherfucker, back in the day, in 18, you know, in the 1800s, if I wanted to put a cannon on the top of my barn, I could put a fucking 8-inch cannon on the top of my barn. I didn't have to get permission from shit. I just had to buy the cannon. Like, you mean to tell me that they didn't intend for me to own a weapon of war?
Technically, it's still legal to own a cannon without.
Yes, it is.
Right.
That sounds pretty
signal gun.
No, you can have your own cannon as long as it shoots black powder.
Yeah,
as long as it doesn't shoot a certain type of powder out of it.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, the intention of the founding fathers when they were like, we need to make perfectly clear, like, let's put "dude" shall not be infringed. Like, we need to make sure that that the government understands that our people, the people of this country, are allowed to have firearms. So we're going to make this as clear as fucking day. Keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Yeah.
And
notice, I mean, they said arms. You know, like they didn't say muskets, they didn't say swords, they didn't say
Right,
they said
right.
arms
That's a good
because
they didn't
we
list
knew
anything. They left
it
it
was going to
open-ended.
develop. Like, I mean, fuck. Like, these are the modern day arms that we have. This is what's available to us. This is the most commonly owned rifle in the fucking country. Like, what people that use these excuses are putting in the least amount of effort possible. Like, it's just a fucking weak argument.
I mean, the simple fact is the fact that I can't go on Amazon.com and purchase a surface-to-air missile and get 2-day delivery. My rights are being infringed.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny
it's as simple as that. I should be allowed to have whatever the fuck I want.
when the
Can you
feds
imagine how
came to
much
my
different
house.
our country would be?
When the feds came to my house and he asked me, he brings me outside, he starts trying to butter me up. He's like, "So I'm a really big fan of the Constitution," he tells me. I'm like, "Are you now?"
That was lying.
That's
Like, yeah,
the
I
first
picked up
thing
this
I'm
job
gonna be like.
So he tells me I pick up this job after 9/11 so I can help keep the Constitution safe. I'm like, well, that statement in and of itself is contradictory. And then we got, talking Patriot Act and whatnot. But he goes, well, what do you think about the Constitution? I look him dead in the face. I'm like, I think it's a dead document because I can't order tactical nuclear weapons on Amazon. And he was just like, just the look in his face of like, yeah, this guy is not with my program.
I don't think he's gonna comply.
No, I did not get they are not writing compliant in my FBI file. That's
I like that. I like that fucking that Zoom meeting that guy was in where he's like for the ATF where he's like, so if I apply for an internship, do I have to wipe my ass with the Constitution before or after I get hired? And they all just or something along those lines, and they all just like went silent and went, well, the conditions of your employment will be discussed when you get hired.
And they didn't deny it. That's the worst.
They didn't deny it at all. Like they don't follow the ATF does not follow the Constitution. The ATF wipes their ass with the Constitution on the daily. Like they probably have Constitution toilet paper.
Look at those children in cages, man. Like,
oh my God.
If Ted Cruz is out here tweeting about it, there's got to be something fucking wrong because that guy's a fucking tool.
The guy has been like screaming, close the border, send them back, and all that shit. And now he's like fucking like
they're packed in there like sardines, and with those fucking like reflective blankets and a 20-inch flat screen TV, like in the very, very far corner. Like, there's no way that's healthy. Like, those people are gonna get sick. They're gonna spread disease, and they're gonna die.
Yeah. Well, if we treated prisoners of war with that kind of conditions, it'd be a war crime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That goes against like the Geneva Convention. You can't house people like that. I mean, we don't even treat our own inmates like our own like criminals like that. And these are kids. Like it's a topic for another show, but it's fucking no. I agree with you. Like the Caboose who went out there with all those with his group and protested in Atlanta last month about that with the getting the kids out of the cages in Atlanta. Like, dude, like it's
almost like the entire government threw a giant bitch fit and said, "No, we're going to put more in cages now."
Right.
No, like he was all like, not on there when Trump was doing it, and then they're just like, and then now Biden's just like, hold my insure.
Trump gets out of office and they're like, funnel them in, let's go. I think we can fit 20 in this can.
Well, if we add another layer of fence right above them there, we can put another 20 on top of the other ones. It's okay. It'll filter out. We'll just pack them in like guinea pigs.
God, it's disgusting.
It is. I joke about it, but it's really not. It's not funny at all. It's disgusting.
No,
it actually
it's
makes me
not.
ashamed to be a fucking American right now. The way we're treating children who have done nothing. Only thing they've done is come here, exist and come here. A lot of them didn't even come here by choice.
Right.
So it's like they came here with no ill intent, and then they're being treated and being so inhumanely like cattle. Like, it's fucking bullshit. It's absolute bullshit.
These are kids that have traveled because they're not from Mexico. That's not where a majority of these immigrants are coming.
Right,
No, they're
Central
from
America.
Central America. They travel thousands of miles on foot
across jungle and desert.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're being stuffed into facilities. I think the last I heard, there was a Texas facility that was 728% over capacity.
Oh my god.
That doesn't surprise me.
Oh, as an overflow facility.
You know, and they're at least in Texas, they're trying to get them in hotels. They're opening up convention centers and trying to get them out of the cramped conditions and spread them out just because of how bad it is. But I mean, it's still like it's not enough.
Like the UN should come knocking at our door and fucking like demand our president and our government, you know, fucking answer for these crimes, because this is against the world population as people, you know, and
that's such a side way of looking at it, because it really wouldn't be that hard to get a bunch of people to go down there with some fold-out tables, a couple computers, and some printers, and start screening people for work visas and green cards.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Streamline this bitch.
It's not hard. There's a worker shortage all across America because,
and they will do all the jobs that most people don't want to do.
They need to go back in the history books, go back to the time when my great grandparents came to this country and went through Ellis Island, and take a page from that. And that's how you do it. That's how you handle mass influx. And that's exactly what CSUT said there. You set up the tables, you run them through, like, hey, here's the name, run them Interpol, run them real quick through Interpol. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, you got a clear background. What are your skills? You've got skills. Welcome to America. Now they're contributing members of society. They can get gainful employment, gainful housing, contribute, and live there. Try to attain what's left of the American dream. But now we're gonna separate families and lock their kids in cages and traumatize their children.
Which, even from like a statist point of view, is a horrible thing, because if you have more people working jobs or above the table jobs, it's more taxes for the state.
Right. No, I mean I mean, they're like, oh, they're going to drain our welfare system. It's like, well, not if they're paying taxes. Not if you gainfully employ them. They're going to pay taxes. They're going to contribute to what they're using. So why not?
And from a Republican point of view or a conservative point of view, it doesn't make any sense, because first, second, and third generation immigrants are generally conservative, straight ticket party voters.
Generally speaking, yes, you're absolutely right. You know, so it's, you know, you know, it's frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating. So I had what was I gonna I had a thought topic and shit. Don't you hate that when you have something pop in your head and then it's there, and then you fucking go to grab it and you're fucking like
you really
you had
smoking all that meth.
Shit.
Just stop doing all those drugs.
No, I think I need to lay off the energy drinks. What I need to lay off of I think it's all the I think it's all the CoQ10 I've been drinking.
I'm a pretty simple old school Red Bull guy.
No, I've been drinking the Bang Rain enhanced energy drinks, the crack in a can, because I was sleepy as shit earlier. But no, it's what was that? Fuck.
No, normally I just snort a gas station boner pill right after I call it good.
Fucking my daughter drank half of a Monster today.
Oh God.
Yo, Mike.
Fuck.
Oh, my
yeah,
God.
it's that guy.
So it's, you know,
If you
obviously
haven't checked,
it pisses me off. It pisses me off because it's like nobody wants to I dislike the government completely. Like they fuck up everything they touch, but it's like it doesn't have to be that way. If they would just listen to the people, because a lot of Americans have really good ideas on how to handle these crises and these situations, but they don't want to listen.
right?
They think they know better than the rest of us, and so they're gonna do whatever the fuck they're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah,
And
even if it means running the whole country into the ground.
right, they're just gonna and they'll never admit they're fucking wrong. And it's it's just this. I mean, this is just like the case, like this. I mean, we started this conversation talking about gun rights and all the gun laws and how it and all this shit. And now we're talking about immigration and how they're fucking these kids up. And it's like it amazes me how all these people that still come to America, even after we traumatized their children and separated families and done horrible things to them, they still want to come here.
Right.
Like they still see the good in our country, and that gives me hope for them, because if they do get citizenship and they do get access, these are people that these kids are potentially going to be the future. If they get the citizenship, these are future people these are kids when they grow up could be potential future leaders of America. They could be senators and congressmen. They could be, scientists and doctors, and and they can do great things to help so this shit doesn't happen again.
If you guys haven't checked it out, not to get off topic, but Mike Bobby posted a video today. I think anybody and everybody should take a 20 minutes to listen to it. It's pretty great, and I'm sure he would appreciate any support he can get.
Yeah, does he?
Where's it at?
I don't know. Twitter. It's on Twitter. No, it's on it. It's on the Mad Liberty. He posted it on the Mad Liberty. I
saw Mike in the comments here. Mike, if you're watching and listening, man, if you can post the link in the comments, I'll pop it up on the screen and share that. I'd like to plug you as much as possible.
Yeah, they need some help, and anybody, and if we're all really a big brotherhood, then people need to step the fuck up and help.
And that's the other thing, and that's one thing that we all kind of need to, anybody watching this or that's watching this live or that's going to watch it later, it's like all these groups that are all liberty minded or that are freedom minded, like we really do need to come together. We need to link up. We need to put our petty differences aside and go like, okay, oh, you're a lefty, oh, you're a righty, oh, you're okay, put that aside, because the end goal is individual freedom. So we could all get together and we could all fight for that as one unified voice, one unified force. Because this standing alone, they're just going to pick us off. It's going to be like, it's like what do you see like when the Hawks come in and pick up a field mouse, they can pick up a field mouse. But if you create something the size of an elephant, they ain't picking up an elephant.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or a swarm of bees. You get one bee, you can handle one bee. But when you got 1,000 bees swarming you,
ungovernable.
You're exactly.
It makes me think of that movie A Bug's Life.
Right, exactly.
There's an excerpt in that where the guy he's saying basically exactly like what you're saying. He's saying those ants outnumber us 100 to 1. They ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
Right.
And and I don't care if you're I've taken issue. Okay, I've talked shit about Antifa, but you know what though? They still fight for freedom. They want justice and freedom. So I'm willing to put my shit aside and back them up and help them out. If they're willing, I'll help them out. They help me out. I'll work with them. Three-pers, I'll work with three-pers. I'll work with. Well, I fully support Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. All these different groups. If we all just put our shit aside, which is happening, which is happening, and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's beautiful, and the media is scared of it. So shit. A reporter posted something about Magnus, like, oh, this unspoken. He's trying to he speaks for all these groups, like trying to basically like discredit him. And we all jumped on, and everybody's jumping on, going like, "Oh no, he never said that. Like, you're putting words in his mouth. If you want to be a real journalist, share the facts."
I think Germanist is a better description.
I take offense.
That's the fourth. When it comes down to it, that's the fourth branch of the government. It's the media.
Yeah. They
may not be the official. They don't officially work for the government, but they work for the government. They're the fourth branch of the government. They are they're the propaganda branch. They spread the misinformation, the disinformation, the divisiveness. They are an enemy of the people.
Yeah.
And it's and it's these independent reporters like Ford Fisher and Maxwell and guys like that are actually showing true facts. And getting the truth of the stories out without opinion, taking the opinion completely out, doing shit like Walter Cronkite used to do, and just be like, these are the facts. This is the fact of the story. This is the who, what, where, when, how, why. Make your own opinion. That's journalism, and those are the guys. Like, so when you're like perusing through. You're perusing through YouTube and you see news to share. Watch their articles, subscribe to them, like them. We need to be supportive of these guys so they can keep doing what they're doing, so the truth can come out, so we can have those unbiased news sources. That's what we need.
Ford's really leading the way in there. Like I'm really proud to call him a friend. Like he's doing some great things that people wouldn't even think to consider. Yeah.
No, he's great. And and just it's we've completely diverged off of our original topic, but it's fine. But we're we're getting into the end times here of the government is flexing
hard.
The power is coming for us, and the only way that our individual groups are going to survive the storm is if we team up and link up and work together and come together as one united force, because that's the only way we're going to survive. So we have to put our petty differences aside and come together and be like, look, and it's, and we need to stand up. We need to stand up for our constitutional rights. We need to stand up so everyone has the right to defend themselves. Everyone has the right to gun ownership. Everyone has the right to open carry. Everyone has the right to stand. Everyone has the right to defend their homes and their property and their lives from anyone from any threat, foreign or domestic, that wants to do them harm.
Right.
I mean, and that, and that's, I mean, I don't know. That's just how I was raised. I never took an oath I never took an oath, but I mean, as a citizen, I will protect my brothers and sisters from all threats, foreign and domestic.
Right.
And I know everybody in this room, in this room, and a lot of the people out here watching tonight are the same way. When shit goes down, we're running towards the danger to help people make sure people are safe and to do good. But we need we need the ability to defend ourselves and to defend innocent lives from danger. And that's the only thing these gun laws are going to do is take away our ability to do that.
Right.
Because when it comes down, like I said earlier in the show, Supreme Court ruled, the police don't have to help you. They have no duty to act. They don't have to, they can cower behind their cars if they want to. They don't have to go running in there and doing anything. And then by the time they, if it gets to the point that they actually call in the National Guard, what are they going to do? It's going to be over by the time everything's going to be gone to shit by the time they show up. So it's up to the individual citizens to defend themselves and protect their lives. So it's up to the people to stand up with one voice and be like, no, we will not comply. We will not let you take away our rights to defend ourselves.
If we don't, who's going to? You gotta stop passing the torch on to somebody else. It's gotta come to a point to where we're all like, no, fuck that.
Yeah, no, exactly. We've reached the point of no return, where you can't back down or we'll forever burn.
People are so blinded by media sensationalism and fear mongering that they don't realize that without these guns, without these rights, our ability to do something about the fuckery there is no ability. I mean, people are so comfortable with this, like, I hate this term when people that aren't from this country say it, but American exceptionalism. It's a real fucking thing. People are so comfortable. They look at shit on the news, like from other countries, like in Myanmar right now. They're like, oh, that won't happen here. We'll be fine. No, America's government would never do that. We're in America. This isn't fucking America that I was.
It will never happen here. They need to remember that in 1942, we locked up every Japanese U.S. citizen.
Yeah, and German.
Yeah, and Germans. Yeah, like those were American citizens.
Our country is very, very, very much capable of doing that. Any government is. Yeah. Which is why do you think they're going after the semi-automatic centerfire rifles? Because those are the most common weapon owned in America. It's also the closest caliber to what they use themselves, and it's a threat to them. So that's why they're going after it. It has nothing to do with safety. It's to protect
they're trying to take our ability away from us to be able to stop them from doing whatever the fuck they want.
Exactly.
This kind of gets in the conspiracy realm of everything, but I'm to the point to where the establishment has decided that they're going to accelerate violence instead of trying to get people to stop it.
Absolutely. No, it's already started.
Yeah, because when people start to stand up and start to do something about it, they have the media on their side. They're going to paint us to be terrorists and white supremacists, and like they're already doing. All these people that want to stand up and do the right thing, I mean, they're being ostracized for it, and the people just eat that shit up.
Well, it's not even that. It's the fact that the big national gun laws that are on the legislative docket right now, if they pass, they effectively turn a great majority of America into felons overnight.
Right.
Yep.
And what are you going to do? What are you going to do to prevent, like, you can't, once that's already done, there's no going back.
And you already know, once you're a felon, they're going to send a SWAT team into your house.
Yeah. You're going to be a high risk.
Especially if you're like us and speak out against it.
Exactly. Oh, we'll be the first ones they come for.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck. Yeah.
It is what it is. Unfortunately, I lost all my firearms in a boating accident.
That doesn't even matter either, because once you filled your next paperwork, if you bought it at a gun store or you had it transferred to you at a gun store, you're on NICS paperwork, which has to be held in paper files in the gun store you bought it from.
Right.
Plus, there's an electronic registry that the ATF also maintains. So your address to where you bought that gun is already there. And if you've moved, that means somebody that potentially doesn't have firearms is going to have the police show up to their house too.
Yeah. Which is why I'm not a big, because, that's why I always find it funny when guys have "Don't tread on me" stickers next to the blue line flag stickers. It's like, really, you do realize the people that are going to tread on you are the people on that blue line flag.
Yep. I mean, I'm thinking about getting one just to get out of the tickets, though.
True. So, but so let's go ahead and we're gonna wind down the show. Trent, I know you got an event coming up here at the end of the month here. You want to plug your event?
Yeah. Yeah.
The opportunity. I know I don't have any fancy links or anything like that, but if you want to have something on the 24th of April.
That we're trying to get a unity rally together and to start bringing in people from all walks of life to come together and congregate and talk and sit down at the table with some dialogue. It's going to be in Austin, April 24th. At Butler City Park. Is that what it's called, Cage?
Yes, sir. Butler Metro Park.
Butler Metro Park. And it's across the river. It's right on the river walk between South Congress and 6th Street. Well, I've been circulating flyers and stuff, and I'm going to start hitting the pavement harder on the media thing and put out a press release probably within the next week or so. Dan Berman's going to be speaking. I'm going to be speaking. I just found out that our brethren in the BLM movement in Texas are going to be with us there. So I'm hopefully going to bring a keynote speaker from their side too. So we're just we want people to congregate, talk, air out our differences. There is middle ground. I don't give a fuck what anybody says or what you read on the media. There is a definite middle ground between the left, the right, the center, the far right, the far left. Doesn't matter. There is a middle ground that we can come to. And if we don't do it now, I mean, Joe Biden openly asked the Supreme Court to infringe on people's rights, their Fourth Amendment rights, the search and seizure. Like openly, not like back channeling kind of shit. Like he asked them in a statement to make it okay. So what's going to happen in a week or two? He promised when he was going to get elected, both him and Kamala both did, that we are coming after your guns. They all did. And so if we don't take the time now to organize and to become a louder voice together with everybody, then that voice we're gonna cease to exist. We're going to fall into obscurity, and they're gonna win. So I mean, it's crunch time now. There's no more waiting next week or pushing it off on somebody else or trying to get your son or daughter to fight the war. No, man, we're in the war right now. It's just a cold war right now.
All right. So there you go.
You just hit me up on Twitter or the Redacted Caucus on Twitter, and I have a pinned link for the flyer. And if you need any further information, just message me.
What's your Twitter handle?
Caucus Redacted.
Let me see here.
Follow you right now.
At Caucus Redacted.
At Caucus Redacted on Twitter. All right.
Yes, sir. So I implore anybody that wants to speak or have a part in it. I am totally open with having you come on board and help. This isn't just about us. You know, we are trying to send the message that, yeah, I think so. Yeah. We're trying to send the message that we need to get a united front. And I was watching a video last night with a Black Lives Matter member in Virginia, the 757, and like I at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was like one of the greatest videos I've ever seen in my life. It spoke to me in so many different ways, and I would love to have him involved if anybody has the connections there.
I think I follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
They have a Twitter.
I can't spell his name, and I'm not going to try to pronounce it and sound like a dumbass because I will.
Yeah. All right, guys. So yeah, so we got a lot of work ahead of us, but you know, and it's up to everybody watching. You know, we got to take action. We got to stand up for our rights, because nobody's going to do it. No one's going to do it for us. We have to get uncomfortable here and step out and act and make our voices heard. And we got to fight. We got to fight. I'm not talking, you know, and I'm not talking physical fight. I mean, we have to act, because if we stand by and do nothing, we lose everything.
Yeah.
So, with that, thank you for watching Hibiscus Society News, shooting the shit. I'm Benjamin Hawk. Good night.
Later.